Hey everybody, we're here with this Sun Tracker Party Barge 20 DLX 2018. The client came in, the customer came in and said, hey listen, we want to do the Varifoil to the boat, and we'd like to do a Variskin. So we were in the middle of the process of getting the boat up on the cans, as you may see here, and getting it to where we could do the install here at Pontoon hydrofoil.com. And we came into a problem, right? And the problem was when we lifted the boat with a single point lift, as you may see behind, okay, normally we do the lift and we, find the center of gravity, and by doing so, we can tell whether the boat side to side has any water inside of it, which is very important for the application of a hydrofoil. So on our sheet, on our measurement sheet, we go ahead and we put on there, do you know about any barnacles, slime, growth on the bottom? Okay, that's one question. And another question is, have you made sure that the tunes are dry before you go ahead and go out and do your test run for your highest speed? Okay, and in this case, this owner did, he checked and thought the tunes were dry. He thought the boat was sitting level at the dock. But when we measure the water lines, as you may pan on into me here, the actual water lines that are still calcium based on the boat, the water line on the starboard side is actually higher than the water line on the port side. How we found that out today is as soon as we went to hoist it off of the boat, off the trailer, we found that the port side was down by a bunch. In fact, we had a 130-pound guy on top of the boat. He had to go all the way to the starboard side, or this side closest to me, okay, and then I had to pull down with about 20 to 40 pounds of pressure on this side to make sure the boat was level so that we could get the trailer off and the 55-gallon drums underneath the boat so that we could work on it. All right, everybody, so we gave you the introduction of what boat this is, 20-footer. But what we wanted to show you is the actual bungs that we're using to put into, or they're using to put into the pontoons. And it's kind of unique the way that Sun Tracker does it, in that the bungs go in from the top, all right, but they separate and put it in baffled systems. So this whole forward section is separate from the aft section of the port side. And the same thing on the starboard side. The starboard side, we have a plug that goes in here. These are 3/8 NPT plugs. These happen to be out of nylon, by the way. They don't like to use any kind of a brass on them because the brass and aluminum will form a corrosion and get crevice corrosion in there, so that's bad for the actual aluminum. So you want to use a nylon. Also, this section on this side is separate from what you see back here. Another bung goes in back here. So it's kind of like a submarine, but only a sealed off unit, okay, as a tune. All right, so what we wanted to show you is that all three of these chambers, meaning the port side forward, starboard side forward, and starboard side aft, were dry. How did we know that? We told you that we put a 130-pound guy when we lifted this up by a single point hoist, and we put a 130-pound guy on this all the way to the right side of the boat, or the starboard side. And then I had to put about an additional 20 to 40 pounds on it, which meant that this port side had something going on. It was listing down really hard. All right. And we couldn't find anything after we got it onto the barrels to do the hydrofoil. We're going to do the Varifoil and the Variskin. So what we did was we came in here, popped these plugs, and we found out that in fact this port aft side has about 3 inches of water in it. Okay, we found that out by blowing in through a tube, a vacuum tube that you may see right here. Okay, we put this in. This is actual vacuum line that we use for vacuum bagging carbon fiber and Kevlar. We stuffed that into the tank. We blew into it and we could hear bubbles, so we knew we had water, right? You can also sound it and you can hear a difference, but that takes a little bit more of a trained ear. Okay, I can't even say that after being in the business since 1980 that I have that much of a trained ear, but I can hear a difference. All right, so what we wanted to show you is how we actually came in and tested it to find out where is the leak, if it has water in it, right? Where did it come from? Did it come from the bottom? Did it come from the top? Did it come from the bung that wasn't put in with a Loctite or a thread locker around it, right? because there's Teflon threading that's supposed to go around this, and we didn't find any indication of that. So what we did was we hooked up this compressor, the pancake compressor that you may see here that you can pan down on, and then we come in and we pressurized the back tube, okay, and we used a double pressure indicator system, because you never want to take a tank and go above 2 pounds absolute maximum. We like to keep it somewhere around 3/4 of a pound to 1.5 pounds. All right, otherwise you will blow it to smithereens. We have seen tanks blow up at 5 pounds of pressure, and I mean, it sounds like a bomb going off. So if you're ever to do this, do it with research. Okay, make sure that your manufacturer agrees on what pound of pressure you should put in. But I can tell you that we put in about 3/4 of a pound to 1 pound of pressure, and that allowed us to go ahead and take a soap and water combination and spray it around all the welds. And that's what we did throughout the entire boat. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut right here and show you what else happened. But the entire weld that they put here is about 3 inches long, and this weld is cracked completely on the outside. Now, well, I should say the outside. This is the inside. So I'm going to take this same mixture and I'm going to put it on the inside. Tracy, come on over here. And you're going to see down the inside here this gusseting system. Okay, you're going to see that there's more air coming out. All right, so now we showed you these welds here are good. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you that the outside weld of the port side on the back end has also got a problem. We know this because we've marked it out. If you come over here to the side and look at it, you'll see this water and soap mixture bubbling up. So that means these welds are cracked, and what's the problem with aluminum is re-welding old aluminum. We said this is a 2018 vessel, so cleaning the weld between the two cracks is very hard. So this takes a professional to do this, so it's not something you really want to try at home. So I would call the OEM and find out what their recommendation is. Maybe you have a warranty that covers it, and if you don't, take it to a professional that can get this job done, because this is not going to get any better. This is only something that's going to get worse. It's like a aluminum can. If you break it back and forth or you bend it back and forth, it's going to get worse and worse. So use this as just a learning curve of how you can test your own boat. If you're getting water inside your tunes, you can check it very easily yourself. Just remember the things that I told you. Check with your OEM on the pressures you're allowed to put into the hull, and also check with your OEM if you do find a problem. Okay, but basically you check every weld, every seam, anything, and that includes the seams down here. These welds here, you can see, these are all fine. We know that because we've already checked the entire boat. But hopefully that helps out for those of you that have a pontoon, a tri-tune, or anything, a tube that's built out of aluminum. And if you have any other questions, you can give us a call anytime at pontoonhydrofoil.com and 727-455-5576. Once again, subscribe to our channel, Pontoon Hydrofoil on YouTube, and thank you very much.